Okay, we call the meeting to order. If you would all please rise, and I think we have a special guest that will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Outstanding. Well, good evening and welcome to the March edition of the meeting of the Greencastle School Board. Thank you. All right. Do we have any adjustments to the agenda?
We have no adjustments to the agenda.
And you will all notice that Mr. Givney is absent this evening, so Mrs. McPherson will be leading in his stead. So. Very good. All right. Moving on to recognitions. Ms. McPherson.
Mr. Roberts.
Well, I have Mr. Johnny Stewart here. He's a first grader at Redpath, and he was nominated for our Character Trait of the Month, Respect. So Mrs. Crone, his teacher, says, Johnny never has an unkind word for others and is very respectful and receptive to others' ideas, thoughts, and feelings. He respects the rules of the classroom and school by following them at all times. I love the way he respects the adults in our building, but just as important, he respects his classmates and friends. He uses his manners by waiting his turn and being patient. And he's a kind helper when it comes to taking care of things in our classroom, like the inside recess toys or whiteboards or helping with the Chromebooks. I can always count on Johnny to make the right choice. So congratulations to Johnny Stewart.
And to add to that, a fine pledge reciter.
Yeah, he did do great.
Outstanding.
For Deer Meadow, Mrs. Cooper let me know today that her student is unable to attend tonight, so we are going to honor her in April. Mrs. Eldridge? So at TZ, our student of the month for March for Respect is Norman Frost, and I'm going to turn it over to his teacher, Mrs. Stevens, to tell you about why. Norman, you are a wonderful student, and I appreciate your kindness to everyone. And your respect to classmates and to teachers and to all the staff is wonderful. So thank you for always being kind and respectful and a good friend to everyone. Clement?
This is Macy Bowling, and she was nominated by her 6th grade teachers for our character trait of respect. Ms. Reeder said Macy is kind, courteous to all students and teachers. She's an active participant in class and works hard to achieve her goals. And Mr. Hansen said Macy is a joy to have in the GMS choir. She is respectful of her teachers, her fellow classmates, and importantly herself. Macy's a delight to have in class. I put that on my email as well, and we're thankful for having her as a student at GMS.
And finally, Mrs. Goodpaster.
This is Rebecca. She's for the high school, and we had several teachers nominate, but Mrs. Frank said that it's a pleasure to recommend Rebecca Hale for the March Student of the Month. Rebecca consistently exemplifies respect in her interactions with teachers, peers, and the environment around her, making her truly deserving recipient of this award. Rebecca approaches every situation with kindness and a positive attitude. No matter the circumstances, she treats those around her with genuine respect and consideration, always maintaining a warm smile even when faced with challenges. I see that all the time. She perseveres through difficulties with grace, handling obstacles in a mature and respectful manner that serves as a model for our other classmates. Beyond her personal demeanor, Rebecca fosters a classroom environment rooted in mutual respect and encouragement. She listens intently, engages thoughtfully in her discussions, and values diverse perspectives. Her ability to remain composed, supportive, and uplifting makes her a great role model for others. When I consider a student who embodies respect for oneself, others, and the community, Rebecca immediately comes to mind. Her actions consistently reflect the values of integrity, kindness, and perseverance, making a positive impact on those around her.
Okay. Moving on to public comments. I have no one registered for any public comments. Is that correct? Very good. Moving on to the approval of the consent agenda, which consists of the meeting minutes of the regular board meeting of February 24th, 2025, the allowance of claims, financial report, and personnel part 1 and 2, which are posted on the door. Mrs. Romer.
Yes, hello. You've got a couple of payrolls in your payroll packet tonight. The first payroll for February was total was $482,497.48. And as usual, we've got some payroll taxes that we have to pay, and we also have retirement that we take care of as well. Total for that February 14th payroll was $137,759.66. As you looked at that payroll, did you have any questions about anything? No? We'll move on to the final payroll for February 2025. It was $502,993.04. And once again, we have those taxes and retirement. For that payroll, it was $141,818.94. We've got a list of prepays for February 2025. As you look through that list, did anyone have any questions? There's nothing unusual on this list, but if you have any questions, be happy to answer them. No? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to, you'll see this is dated February 27th, claims number 2. We did, you gave me authorization to go ahead and do a second AP for February due to my vacation. We've got some folks that still need to be paid even if I'm out the building. So we went ahead and did a second AP for February. So that's what you'll see here on this list as you went through that list. Did anyone have any questions about that?
Did not.
Okay. Well, we'll move on from that one. And then we've got a list of claims that are dated today, March 17th, 2025. And once again, did you go ahead and glance through there? Did anyone have any questions about anything specifically?
Pretty standard.
No? Okay. No questions. The total for the claims dated today. And I'd like to point out that it is a week early due to the board meeting.
Mhm.
So it's not going to be nearly as much as usual. And we'll probably circle back to this in the later agenda item. But the total for today, March 17, 2025, is $292,587.61. And then if you're ready, we'll go ahead and move on to the fund report. The balance in education fund, the end of February 2025 was $3,871,115.69. And we're going to go down a couple more rows to Fund 300 operations. Balance in operations at the end of February 2025, $612,346.29. Go ahead and go to the very last page, and the balance in all funds is $10,747,126.93. As we take a look at the bank to fund statement, we've got our total balance in our banks, and then we also have our total balance in our funds that we have here at the schools. And we always want those two things to balance, and usually they do, and they have once again this month, so we're looking good. And then we have those fund transfers that would include the education to ops. We have school lunch transfer, and then you also authorize me to make some adjustments if I need to move money from one bank to another. Total transfers for February 2024 or 2025 is $724,428.95.
And then lastly, we've got expenditures for bond 2021 and 2022. As you can see, we did not have any expenditures during the month of February. So our balance is there. You'll see there's no new expenditures. So you'll see what our total expenditures to date are in both of those bonds. And pending any questions, I'd like to submit for approval.
Any questions? All right, can I get a motion?
Motion.
All right, I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion will carry. Thank you, Ms. Cole.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to the reports. The Assistant Superintendent, Mrs. McPherson, you have the floor.
Yes. As you know, this is our first year with the JAG program at the middle school and high school. So I've invited Mrs. Crosby, our high school JAG specialist, and some of her students to come up and share a little bit about a recent competition that they participated in. Would you like to come on up, everyone, and share with us?
These are just the competition stuff that we've done. I'll tell you. I'll stay over here because I don't think that. Okay, these are just some of my students that came. Ray Inman, who's our president of the JAG Association. Then I have Shai Watson, Izzy Camara Adorno, if I say that right. Logan Wood, and Maya Slagle. And these are all kids that we did in the CDC. Most of you placed, did all of you place? Try. Most of them placed up to third place, so it's nice. And then Ray Inman is going to speak.
How we doing? Thanks for having us. As you know, I'm Braden Inman. I'm the inaugural JAG Career Association president here at Greencastle. As you know, we are in our first year, but I think we've started out pretty well. I think JAG itself is a really unique class. I think if you have the opportunity to take it, you should. It offers a lot that not a lot of other classes that you may have. I think the two that stand out the most to me are the job shadowing opportunities that you have and the guest speakers that come in. Because we have guest speakers that I think the best word to use for our guest speakers is diverse. We have people from colleges come in. We've had people from all the armed forces come in. We've had employers come in. Just something for everybody, I think. But the CDC is something we participated in, I think, in January. It was held in Terre Haute, I think, at Ivy Tech building, Ivy Tech campus. And it stands for the Career Development Conference. And I think that's really, really what it was. I personally participated in 2 activities. I made a JAG commercial for our JAG program here at Greencastle with 2 of my friends who are not with us tonight, Sam Lancaster and Dylan Campbell. But I'd like to give them a little shout out because I do think they helped a lot with it. I don't think I can stand up here and talk without them. But we made a JAG commercial and that placed 3rd in our, is it class? Was it? In our division. Okay, we placed 3rd in our division with that. And fittingly up here, I did public speaking as my other activity, which was impromptu. You had to rehearse it, and you had 2 to 5 minutes to talk about what JAG has done for you, and that's what I did. And I placed 2nd in my division, which I was somewhat surprised by. There were some really great contestants, but I think that's something that I think highlights what the CDC does. It lets a school like Greencastle compete with schools that might be smaller, but also might be bigger, and gives students at Greencastle the opportunity to do things that they might not have the ability to do, not in JAG. So I think the CDC went well, but I think overall, the more Greencastle's JAG program does, I think the more success Greencastle's JAG will have. But I think this first year, the foot in the door, I think it went really well. But that's all I have to say in case all my friends up here want to say anything else.
Hi, I'm Izzy. I'm a junior. This is my first year in JAG, and I really think that JAG is one of the most beneficial classes that I have taken all throughout high school, and I will continue to be taking it through my senior year. And just like Braden said, it is like a very beneficial class. You get a diversity of many people in there, trades, people that went to college, people that just went straight to like the workforce. So I really think it helps like open like students' minds into like instead of like you don't always have to go to college. You can by far go to the workforce and still be successful. So yeah, I'd like to say that.
Well stated.
I want to say something now. I'm shy. So I would say that
in JAG, we don't just learn stuff about careers. He also helps with life skills and stuff like that. And I feel like that's really useful because you don't really learn that in school anymore. So I feel like having this class is a lot more useful than just knowing what you want to do out of high school. And it's not like we've been having guest speakers come in, and it's not like you have to go to college to be successful. Having different careers come in, it helps a lot with knowing what you want to do. So, and I'm also a junior, and I'm taking it next year.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing.
Well done. How many students were in the class this year?
Currently, I have 47. I started with 50. I had 3 move out, but I have 47 currently, and our max is 50. I am sitting on 63 applications right now, so I have to narrow it down.
Wow.
Good problem to have.
Yeah.
It is a good problem. It is a good problem to have. Some of the schools in our district, like in our region, which is 7, which is Terre Haute, they only have 1 period, and I have 4. So I'm glad I don't have that issue. So yeah.
Awesome. I was really excited to see this program get started.
Yes,
It's a
absolutely.
blessing to see that it's blowing up like that. So well done to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here as well.
All are invited to come into my classroom if you guys want to come speak.
We may just do that.
All right.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I'm staying.
Thank you. I have just a couple of other things I want to share. We've had a lot going on in the world of fine arts the last couple of weekends. We have our student art show going on at the Putnam County Museum now through April. So it's a great opportunity to go and see all the wonderful artwork that our students at GCSE have submitted and done. I also want to thank Carrie Hamilton at TZ. They had their musical last week at the bandstand. And I hear it was almost standing room only. There were hardly any tickets left. And so it was a great performance. And she put a lot of work into that. And students did too. And then our middle school and band and choir, they competed this past weekend for their ISMA competition. And there were golds across the board for it. So just a lot of wonderful things happening in the world of fine arts. And last but not least, when we return from spring break, on April 3rd, we have our preschool and kindergarten roundup at Deer Meadow and Ridpath. So we are pushing information about that to get all of those future Tiger Cubs ready and enrolled.
Very good. Okay, thank you for that. All right, we have no old business. We'll move into new business. We have several approval requests, starting with Schools for the Future pilot program.
Yes, so we are asking for approval to participate in the Schools for the Future pilot program at the high school. Part of the requirements for the new redesign of the diploma includes students demonstrating skills in areas like communication, collaboration, and work ethic, which are kind of hard to grade. And so this pilot program is designed to help students showcase those skills in ways that teachers can actually track their growth and development through them in order to get the things that they need for that high school diploma. This is just a pilot program, and the high school guidance will be working with just a select group of students this first year to navigate it and give feedback to the program. It's not something that we are, that we have to do past 25, 26, and we're not paying for it. It's just a way for us to kind of look and see what is the best way that we can actually track our student growth in these specific areas.
So that kind of like zeroes in more on what each individual student may be interested in or maybe want to move forward to. All right, cool. Okay.
It's actually called Skills for, or is it the schools? This
Schools for Future initiative.
doesn't matter.
Okay. Do you have any other questions? All right, hearing none. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion will carry. All right. I have a request for a memorandum of understanding, which is an MOU between Greencastle School Corporation and Greencastle City Police Department. Excited about this one?
Yes, so we are requesting your approval of this MOU between our school corporation and the city police department for an SRO officer to begin serving our schools on April 1st. The officer will travel between 5 buildings, but from what Mr. Gibney has shared, we are still defining what those specific tasks and responsibilities will be. But we are very excited about this partnership and the impact it will have on our students and staff.
This has been a long
Long time
process.
coming.
Long
Yes,
process.
We're excited.
Does anyone have any questions?
So we're going to just determine the location and then how, like, if a principal needs them, how they can be contacted. I think that's still to come.
Yes.
And then I see this is through June 30th, but it's renewable each year.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Like it.
And right now, we're going to start with just part-time officers from the department, and hopefully in the future we can move to more of a full-time officer that will do it. But this is kind of a pilot program to get it off the ground and get us going. So this is where we're at. Pretty excited about it.
Very excited.
What is the time frame to go through the SRO training?
You have a year from April 1st to once the officers start, we have a year to get them through the actual week-long training for school resource officer.
So we're just putting them all through.
Yeah, we have, I think, four, maybe 5 officers that are interested in doing it right now. So we'll get them through, and once we get them all through, then they're good from that point on. They'll just have continuing education from that point that they'll be required every year to complete. They'll just have the one-time training. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none. Can I please get a motion?
Motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion will carry. Thank you very much. All right, we have a request for the 2025-26 Mindful Growth School psychologist contract with Dr. Abby Jones.
Yes, Mrs. Sullivan is requesting board approval to continue our contract with our school psychologist services with Dr. Abby Jones through Mindful Growth. Dr. Jones has been working with us for over a year, I believe, Mrs. Sullivan. Right at a year, and has been really positive, and so we're asking for that continued contract.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve.
A motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion will carry. All right. Have a request for overnight tennis team to Floyd Central, April 11th through the 12th of 2025.
Mrs. Goodpasture and Mr. Greenlee are requesting your approval for the high school girls tennis team to attend an overnight trip to Floyd Central in order to participate in a varsity tennis tournament. They'll leave Friday afternoon after school and then will return on Saturday. Most of the tennis matches will be on Saturday. Mrs. Munoz Phoebe said there might be one Friday night as well.
Are they going to have enough time if they do play Friday night to leave after school?
Very nice. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
A motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. I have a motion in 2 seconds. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion will carry. A request for permission to pay late arriving invoices for March of 2025.
Yes, Mrs. Romer alluded to that earlier in her
With the board meeting being a little early this month, we want to make sure that we get our vendors paid timely. And as, of course, those invoices continue to come in, and we want to stay on schedule and in good graces with our vendors. So if you're okay with it, if I get your approval, we'll go ahead and generate a second AP just like we did in February and like we do at the end of every calendar year to kind of clear things out. We do a second one in December normally. But if you allow me to do that, that way it kind of keeps us on top of payment to our vendors.
Good. It's always good to stay in good graces with those that service. That's for sure. All right. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion will carry. All right, and looks like we have a request for some donations. Gary and Linda Huber to Greencastle High School Band for $500. Very self-explanatory. All right. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much for the donation. All right, do we have any other business?
Yeah, so I just wanted to give a shout out to the transportation department. We took the middle school baseball team to an ISU-IU baseball game the other day, and we had issues understanding how the bus worked. And Candace Pelfrey was phenomenal. She was on the phone with us for a good 20, 25 minutes when we got to the game, and then she met us back at the transportation office when we got back just to help us so we didn't have the same issue getting the child lock thing off. So huge shout out to them for teaching us how to work a bus.
Did you have someone locked in the bus?
No, the other coach, but it was fine.
Oh, that's cool. That works. That works. Yeah, I have to piggyback on that. Our transportation department is top notch. They're good folks. They handle a lot of business in town. If you've ever been at the transfer lot after school, it's organized chaos and they're herding cats, and it's very phenomenal how they have that all very quickly done, and everybody's in and out in the snow and the rain, and it's a phenomenal thing. So, well done, well done. Any other business?
Spring break, just a reminder, starts on Friday. We do have school on Friday, so I hope everyone has a really relaxing spring break and enjoys their time if they're staying home or venturing out to warmer weather.
Very good. Anyone else? Okay. I'd like to give just a quick shout out in regard to the SRO MOU that we just voted on. I want to give a big thanks to Mr. Givney and his crew for all their hard work on getting all this together.
And to you.
I just did my part on the side. Our chief of police for doing a lot of work behind the scenes and getting this done. Our mayor and our city attorney for their hard work on getting all this written out and thought through. It's been a long time coming. It's been 5 years. It's been on my list every year to try and get this done, and we're finally kind of moving in that direction. So very proud to have this done and all the hard work of everyone has put into it. So hopefully we don't need them for any reason, but we'll be there if we do. So very good. And thank you for the board support and for the public support. Do appreciate it. All right. Do we have any other business? Hearing none, we'll move to adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do you have any discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion will carry. Have a safe spring break, everyone. See you next month.